Hi. I want to revisit an older video I did, like I think a year ago or longer. It was actually my first video on YouTube, and it's about an add-on which I created a while ago now, which helps you to automatically assign shaders or visibility attributes and subdivision to objects on a wider range. So basically a bulk assignment based on naming rules. Okay, so I slimmed down the add-on quite a bit to remove certain functionalities which have been really mostly work related and not really interesting for daily user. So what the add-on does now is it stays modular. It doesn't automatically force you to use it as it did before. So now you can use it in conjunction with a normal workflow. This is an example scene file I have here right now. I have two characters and a studio background, and I'm assigning materials and visibility attributes based on this add-on. I have two palettes here, which is one for the environment and one for the characters. And these palettes are evaluated from top down. So lower number is on top and then higher number and higher number. This way you can stack rules on top of each other. So let's get started from scratch. Let's get rid of all this. So how would you start? You would probably, there is a quick setup which gives you like the most default you really want. In the string you define the name which should be in your asset. For example, here wood brown turntable. This one is plastic body parts. So you would say, for example, plastic. Every object which has the name plastic in it should receive this assignment. Or you can be really specific to say only object with exactly this name should receive the assignment. Let's do like this first. Okay, then this object should receive, let's say, Chrome shader. Nothing is happening yet because in the output node is per collection. You can define only objects in environment collection should get this assignment, or only objects in the character collection, etc. And it goes also like in sub collections. So let's say we have character blue. We put this here, put this here, and now all the blue, well, everything which is called plastic body parts sub 1 is receiving this assignment. If you want to work a bit more generic, this allows wildcards. So you can say, if there's anything before the word plastic, ignore it or just use it, then plastic, and anything after, use it. So nothing has changed because it's still the same assignment really. Here you can do the same. If you want every object in all the collections, basically an entire scene which have the word plastic, get this Chrome shader. So you can here do also like a wildcard, like a star, and now all collections are being respected. And you can see all the collections, all plastic names receive now this material. Okay, let's go back again to make it cleaner. Let's say plastic blue is this fella, and I want him in character blue. Character blue. Okay, so nothing has changed because this one here, which is in the red collection, received the material beforehand, and that's what I meant before. It doesn't force you to use the add-on. You can now manually give it a different shader. But this one, you can't give it. it will put it on, but as soon as you change something, let's say up, down, off, it will go back to the assignment because it overtakes whatever you put here. Then more examples for subdivision. It's in attributes and subdivision. So if you add this here, all the plastic, everything which is one plastic inside, in character blue receives a subdivision modifier, and you can see it here. It's called PLT subdivision. So you can adjust the visibility here. If you delete it, the modifier gets removed. And you can as well say, like in a generic scale, let's say all the objects which have the word sub in them. I usually name mine, for example, with a suffix sub for subdivision. In every collection should get a subdivision assigned. Now, all the words, all the objects with a sub, the meta inner joiners don't have the sub, so there is no subdivision on it, and the other ones receive the subdivision modifier. Another attribute is visibility. By default everything is ticked. You can say all the sub, or let's go back to, let's remove the subdivision quickly. Let's say all plastic shader. All of them should not render, and they're not there. All of them should not be visible to the camera. They're not there, but they're still being indirectly used. So they still cast a shadow, they're still visible in reflections. Same with all other ray passes like glossy, transmission, volume. You can say they're shadow catchers, you can say they're holdouts. You can change the viewport display. So if you go here, it's solid, it's wire, let me enable overlays, it's bounding box. So let's say you have like a background scene or lots of objects in the background, and you scatter lots of plants, God knows when it slows down your viewport. You can, the entire collection, you can set them to bounce, for example, to improve your viewport responsiveness. Okay, go back to textured and back to render. So this is how you would use the add-on. It's really fairly simple, or it's not a lot of nodes going on. You can, it needs to have an output node. Without an output node, nothing is gonna work. So if you remove that, the add-on doesn't even calculate anything because because it needs an output node for it to understand, hey, I need to do something. So again, in combine, and we have output, we put this back in. Nothing will happen because we have to again specify the collection. Let's say character blue, and we have it back on. So let's say we can copy this over, and every plastic in character red, we want it to be the red plastic shader. So since he is living in a red collection, right here, he is living red plastic shader. And what I mentioned before with the evaluation, that it goes from top down, you can do, let's say, a final tweak palette. So you can create like a new palette, let's call it 100, so it goes all the way to the end, tweak, and adjust. Naming convention is always nice. Oops, if you spell right, obviously. So this now is at the very bottom. So this, whatever you put here, will override the other ones. If we do a new quick setup, and we say, you know, I decide plastic to have all my black plastic material, let's say plastic black, and in all collections. This overrides now all of them. If you remove this again, the collection, since it's here, if you remove the connection, it will go there again and will grab this palette. So it should be red and blue again. There we go. So this is really for if you have bigger scenes and you want to automate these kind of things. I think it can be quite useful. And another example really is like if you work in a team and you want to share your look diff, and you should always receive the same shader on the same object. Like you get an Alembic cache, for example, from an animator, and the Alembic cache is really just a plain geometry with the names, and this way you can make use of the names to assign the shaders. Let me just give an example. If I open a scene file, don't save, let's go into Studio Blank. So this scene, for example, right now has no shaders assigned whatsoever. Just a blank shader, which I created, called a blank shader. By the way, here is the palette editor. And let's say the scene we had before where you predefine the look diff in the palettes and let's say subdivision and visibility, you can append this palette and it also brings in the materials it needs. So if I go to append and let me go to the Studio Look Diff file, I go to node trees and I grab, for example, the environment. I'm penning it in, and the environment, all of them, gets automatically shaders and subdivision assigned. We got subdivision on it, we got the shaders assigned because it was predefined in my look diff scene. So I can also append the body, and they get as well everything automatically assigned. So yeah, this way you can just bring in do I have this somewhere? Yeah, the robot. Let me define in the scene collection, import Alembic, oops, import Alembic, I bring in the robot. It comes in without any shaders because it's living outside of any collections which I define here. I say environment collection is for the environment, body collection is for character blue here, and we should have also have a character red, yeah, character red here. So if I want this one to be part of the red collection, I grab it, drag it into red collection, and into the red collection, and it gets a shader assigned. I grab it, drag it in blue collection, it gets a blue shader assigned. And this is really it. So I hope this can be useful for you. I'm not a professional coder, so please expect a bug here or there. It should be working. If not, I'm sorry, but it shouldn't break anything in your scene, so you're good to go. And yeah, if you got any questions, please just ask in the comments, and I provide the link to the add-on where you can find it. So it's going to be on Gumroad and on Blender Market for free. And have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.